My name is Morgan Adams, 32, the overlooked middle child of the Adams software empire. At our Boston mansion for Thanksgiving, I noticed Dad glued to his phone, whispering excitedly to Mom with unusual fervor. Beneath my understated black dress, I carried a resolve they'd severely underestimated. The revelation Dad was set to unveil at dinner would reshape our family forever, but not as he anticipated. If you're navigating a family business, comment your location below and subscribe to see how I transformed my father's betrayal into a triumph that redefined our legacy. I grew up in Brookline, a wealthy Boston suburb, in a grand colonial with 6 bedrooms, an indoor heated pool, and a lawn tended by 3 gardeners. To outsiders, we were the epitome of American success. My grandfather, Robert Adams, founded Adams Software Solutions in 1978 from his garage, armed with a used computer and a groundbreaking inventory management idea. He turned it into a regional titan before my father, Harold Adams, took the helm in 1995. Dad aggressively scaled the company from a $10 million business to a $50 million enterprise, employing over 200 people with clients nationwide. Every holiday, vacation, or barbecue became a stage for celebrating his business prowess. In Boston's elite circles, the Adams name meant success, a fact Dad ensured his children never forgot. We were 3. Garrett, 38, the favored eldest, despite lacking business talent. A communications major who partied through college, he was handed a vice president role post-graduation. Garrett preferred his yacht and fleeting romances to the office, yet Dad saw him as the heir apparent. I, Morgan, was the middle child at 32, inheriting Grandpa's tech passion. I taught myself coding at 12, built an app by 15, and graduated summa cum laude from MIT with a dual degree in computer science and business. My ideas to modernize the company were innovative, but Dad always ignored me in business talks as if I were invisible. My younger sister, Megan, 29, completed our trio, using the Adams name to become a lifestyle influencer with a massive following, showcasing curated New England luxury. She had no interest in software, but never missed a chance to flaunt her Adams software heiress status while contributing nothing to the company. Mom, Diane, from old Boston wealth, handled family tension like a true Beacon Hill wife. By ignoring it and sipping Chardonnay, she occasionally suggested Dad hear my ideas, but when he dismissed her with a look, she'd retreat. "Diane, this is serious business," he'd say before resuming golf or yacht talk with Garrett. Family gatherings revolved around business discussions that excluded me. Dad and Garrett traded industry jargon and inside jokes while I sat quietly, despite knowing the tech and market better. If I spoke up, Dad's patronizing smile came with, "That's cute, Morgan, but leave business to those who get the real world." The tipping point came at 22. Fresh from MIT, I developed a cloud-based integration solution that could have put us ahead of competitors. I spent months crafting a detailed business plan, market analysis, and specs. Dad reluctantly let me pitch at a board meeting. In the mahogany-paneled room, facing Dad's old friends, I presented with a mix of nerves and excitement. 10 minutes in, Dad stopped me, sighing. "Enough, Morgan. This is creative but impractical for a serious company. Clients want reliability, not experiments." He shrugged to the board. "My daughter's fresh from college with academic ideas." Humiliated, I packed up as they chuckled and moved on. That night, I vowed to leave Boston and the family business, determined to build something undeniable. I moved to San Francisco with $5,000, no connections, and sheer will. My parents thought it was a phase, smirking, "She'll be back when she's broke." Those early years were grueling. Living in a tiny studio, surviving on ramen, working 80-hour weeks, first in low-level coding jobs, then freelancing. Every penny went into my company, Everest Holdings, founded under the pseudonym Emmy Stone, Morgan Elizabeth, to detach from the Adams name. Starting with custom solutions for startups, I reinvested profits. By year 3, I had 10 employees and an office in Soma. My breakthrough was a proprietary platform linking legacy systems to cloud services, echoing the pitch Dad rejected. Venture capital followed, but I kept majority ownership, controlling my fate. Over 7 years, I acquired complementary tech firms, growing Everest to a $200 million valuation with offices in 3 cities. As Emmy Stone, I was a reclusive tech genius, avoiding public appearances, letting my COO handle most events. My family knew nothing of my success. During rare calls or visits, I kept my career vague, doing okay. And Dad never probed, assuming my work was trivial. This suited me as I built Everest to stun them. For a year, I'd quietly bought shares in Atom Software's key suppliers and clients, studying their weaknesses. 6 months ago, my CFO sent an anonymous acquisition offer, which Dad dismissed. Now, a decade after that boardroom humiliation, I returned for Thanksgiving with a plan to shake the Atoms empire. The company was faltering, outdated tech, shrinking market share. Dad didn't know I'd become his greatest threat and only savior. The week before, in my San Francisco office overlooking the bay, I finalized the acquisition deal. My assistant confirmed my private jet for Tuesday. "Sure you don't want your team in Boston?" she asked. "This is personal," I replied. My friend Isabella called, skeptical. "After years of their dismissal, you're facing them at Thanksgiving?" She recalled last Christmas when Dad toasted Garrett's unearned promotion while ignoring my $20 million funding round. "This time's different," I promised. I packed carefully. Armani suits, a Chanel dress, Louboutin heels, a Patek Philippe watch, subtle symbols of success. After years of downplaying my achievements, I wanted them to notice before the bombshell. On the jet, I reviewed the contract, smiling at the irony of flying coach for years while building this empire. A Bentley met me at a private airfield, driving through Brookline's familiar streets to our estate, snow-dusted, imposing, unchanged. Mom greeted me, noting my Patek Philippe with surprise. "You look different, Morgan." Inside, she chatted about Megan's Instagram and Thanksgiving plans, mentioning Dad's big deal. In his study, Dad barely looked up, offering a perfunctory hug. "Flew private," I said casually. His surprise faded as his phone rang, dismissing me for important business. I glimpsed Everest's acquisition proposal on his desk, heart racing but face calm. Upstairs, my old room, debate trophies, MIT pennants, felt like a shrine to my overlooked past. Garrett, drinking scotch, mocked my little startup. Megan, filming for Instagram, suggested I'd found a rich boyfriend. Garrett's new girlfriend, Amber, gushed about San Francisco shopping. Dad's excited voice carried from his study, "Tomorrow, $50 million, Everest Holdings." I slipped into the kitchen, where Maria, our housekeeper, greeted me warmly. "Big day tomorrow," she hinted. Pre-dinner drinks were tense. Mom's forced cheer, Dad's phone obsession, Garrett's boat boasts, Megan's social media show. At dinner, the mahogany table gleamed with Wedgwood china, silver candelabras, and a lavish centerpiece. I was seated farthest from Dad, with Garrett and Megan flanking him, Mom beside me. Maria served soup, salad, and a perfect turkey as Megan narrated for her followers. Dad's gratitude ritual began. Garrett bragged about a fictional record quarter and his yacht. Megan thanked her 1 million followers and luxury brand deals. I spoke deliberately. I'm grateful for life's lessons, that rejection fuels the right path, persistence trumps privilege, and success teaches best. Dad frowned but moved on, praising his legacy. Mom slurred thanks for family. Dad's distraction grew, whispering to Mom. As pie arrived, he tapped his glass. "I'm selling Atom Software," he announced. Garrett choked. Megan gasped. "The $50 million goes to our retirement and a tech education foundation, not your inheritance." Garrett slammed the table. Megan wailed for her followers. I stayed calm, eating pie. Mom noticed. "Morgan, you're not surprised." All eyes turned to me. "Who's the buyer?" I asked. "Everest Holdings," Dad said proudly. $50 million generous given our struggles. I sipped water, then said, "Dad, I am Everest Holdings." Silence. The grandfather clock ticked. Garrett spilled his wine type. Megan filmed. Mom grabbed the bottle. "I'm M.E. Stone," I continued, sliding my Everest business card to Dad. "I built a $200 million company after you dismissed my pitch a decade ago. I own your suppliers, your clients. This acquisition completes my plan." Dad sputtered. "Preposterous." Garrett accused me of espionage. I explained it was legal market research, citing Atom's 22% market share loss. "You rejected my partnership offer 6 months ago," I said. "Your pride refused help." Megan asked, "You're our boss now?" "Technically," I said. "Management will change." Dad stood, canceling the deal. I shook my head. "It's signed. The board approved. Press release tomorrow." Mom slurred, "You were worth $200 million while we thought you struggled?" I nodded. "You never asked." Dad stormed out. Mom followed. Upstairs, Garrett confronted me, accusing me of lying. I revealed his $300,000 embezzlement, silencing him. Resign or face charges, I warned. Megan proposed a social media deal, admitting her skills mirrored my hustle. Mom later admitted she failed me. Tears in her eyes. What now? She asked. Adams becomes Everest's enterprise division. Dad and Garrett get advisory roles, no power. 6 months later, Adams Everest Technologies thrived. Dad embraced his advisory role, Garrett pursued an MBA, Megan boosted our brand, and Mom volunteered for women's tech initiatives. My photo joined Grandpa's and Dad's on the company timeline. Thanksgiving was simpler. No posturing, just a family learning to listen. Success wasn't revenge, it was reconciliation. If you faced family business struggles, share below. Like, subscribe, and thank you for joining my journey from rejection to unity. True success is what we build together.